Good morning and Happy New Year, everyone. So this video is coming out a little later than I originally planned. We had some family emergencies that needed to be taken care of over the weekend. Everything is all right, but because I had to take priority over everything else, I wasn't able to get on and upload any videos, which I am now. I'm gonna go over some of the more exciting moments this past year that we got to do. We actually, past year's actually been a really good year for us. We got started in YouTube, got to go on a lot of camping trips, hiking, a lot of different events. It's overall been a very good year. So let's go ahead and get started with it. So first on the list of things we did in 2016 is we learned to do skateboard and longboard mushing. Now, I hadn't skateboarded since I was around 9 or 10 years old, so it's been a long time. And when I first saw Mike do it with Nora, I thought to myself, how hard can that be? I mean, I used to be fairly decent at it back then. It was actually a lot harder than I thought, and it took a while before I got used to it. Actually, I think Mike has a video of one of the first times I tried to do it, skateboard mush, and it didn't work out too well. I'll go ahead and put that up here somewhere for you to check out. But eventually, we did get better at it, and we started skateboarding just about everywhere. I would actually skateboard out to the park with Thor and work from there for part of the day until my laptop ran out of battery. Eventually, I decided to move from a skateboard to a longboard because I heard they're a lot more stable and they're better suited for cruising, which is similar to the mushing that we were doing. So that's definitely something we're going to keep doing because it's good exercise for Thor and it's great exercise for me. So the next thing, kind of along the same lines, is bike touring. Now, bike touring we had done before a little bit, never with our own equipment, and only a couple times because Thor wasn't really old enough yet. This year we were actually able to get out and participate in a couple of races. So one of the first races we went to was back in April, and it was a camping trip up in Michigan, and that's also when we met Gone to the Snow Dogs. Thor did all right in that race. I have no idea where we placed, but it was an old 30-year-old mountain bike that I was using, and I'm actually surprised the thing survived the race, and I wasn't carrying it back in pieces on the way back. Later on that year, though, I did end up picking a Mongoose Vincent up from a friend, and that's a fat tire bike, so the tires are almost as big as a motorcycle tire. The next race we participated in was back in November, and Thor placed second place on his first race that weekend. So he's definitely done a lot of improving as well as me over the one we did earlier in the year. So we also went on 4 different camping trips this past year. The first one being the one I mentioned before with Gone to the Snow Dogs, Creative Pet Keeping, and Press Record. There we went on our first dryland mushing race, and it actually ended up being a lot colder than we originally planned for. It got so cold we moved from the tent into the car, and even then my feet were still frozen by the morning. We actually had snow the next day, which I don't believe we originally thought we were going to have, and we're not talking like little flurries like we're used to down here. These were some seriously big snowflakes. So while it was really cool and all, we were pretty cold, and we actually ended up calling that camping trip early at night just because of how cold it was. Either way, it was a good time. Thor got to meet Shelby, and that whole thing started. Got to meet a lot of new friends. It was a really good time. So the next trip we went on was kind of a quick throw together one to Portage, Michigan. This is back in July, and that one was with Gone to the Snow Dogs and Creative Pet Keeping. It also was the one that actually triggered me starting the YouTube channel. At the time I wasn't 100% sure whether or not I was gonna start a channel or not, but although that was a short trip, we did get to go on a couple of hikes. We got to spend a lot of good time with good friends and had an overall really good time. The next trip we went on was our big Upper Peninsula trip. That one was actually one of the longest camping trips I've ever been on. I think I've been on a couple that were a week long back when I was a kid, but in recent years, this is definitely the longest camping trip I've ever been on. On the way up, stopped in Chicago, spent a day with Kaja from Creative Pet Keeping. Thor got to check out that doggy beach, which was awesome. I definitely, if any of you guys are anywhere near Chicago, I definitely recommend checking that out with your dog. You'll not regret it. It was an awesome experience. It's not something you would expect to find down there. At least I wouldn't have expected to find it. But the trip up to the Upper Peninsula was amazing. Going back to these video clips brought back a lot of memories, and it makes me really want to go back there again. There's just so much to see, and even though we saw a lot, we were busy every day going to different trails, different sites. Even though we did all that, there was still so much to see up there. You're literally driving to these places, and there's markers on the side of the road like waterfall here, trail here, ravine here, mine shaft here. There's all kinds of stuff up there. It's really cool. I think even living up there, it would be almost impossible to see everything. So I definitely want to make a trip back up there. Possibly, I wouldn't say January, because we're already in January. I don't know if I'm going to have time to go up there, but maybe February or March. I do want to make a trip up there again, because that's also where the ice caves are. I meant to check those out last year, and I never made it up. This year, I definitely want to make it up. Possibly, I don't know if we're going to camp, or maybe we'll just rent a cabin or something up that way. But either way, I definitely want to make it up there in the winter and check that place out with the snow and everything they're getting.
Oh, you got that one.
Yep, sure did.
Nice. That one landed like 3 feet in front of the camera.
The last camping trip we went on was the second dryland mushing race we went, and Thor actually placed second place on the first day there. So it really shows that all the practice and stuff Thor and I have done, the new equipment has definitely paid off. Didn't do so well the second race, but at the same time, he really wasn't in the mood to race. And I kind of understand, because he just did that exact same trail the day before, and he has a tendency that if he's seen a trail before, like if it's a trail we do repeatedly, he's not as excited each time he goes there again. It's kind of like, yeah, I've already seen this. I'm just going to take my time and sniff. And that's kind of what happened the second time we went down that trail, which is all right. I mean, he's not... Poop strike hits again. Also this year we went to several events. There was a couple of 5Ks over the summer that we did, and these 5Ks were the Siska Lift Your Leg Run and the Furry Scurry 5K hike. Both of these raise money to benefit local shelters to help homeless animals get vaccinations and the care they need, as well as help the adoption process and getting them forever homes. These 5Ks, on top of being beneficial for homeless animals, also give us a chance to go out and socialize with other husky owners, other pet owners, and generally just have a good time, possibly even get to check out parks we didn't know existed. So we're going to try to do more of these in the future. The Lift Your Leg Run is one I've done ever since I first got Thor. So his first one was 3 years ago, I guess now. Back when he wasn't even a year old. He was just a few months old. And he did awesome on it. So the Furry Scurry is a new one we just did this year. We're definitely going to do that one again this next year. I don't know if there's any others. I'll have to check into it. But at the very least, we'll do these two in the summer. So some of the other events we went to a fall pumpkin festival back in Hamilton around a little bit before Halloween. We did the Indie Pet Expo with Press Record, where Thor got to see his first llamas, which he was very excited to see, as you could tell in this clip. Listen to these two.
I've never heard that noise from him before.
And later on in the year, we got to take a walk around the new mall that got built locally and check out some of the Christmas lights, which actually turned out to be pretty neat. It was really cool to see all the decorations and lights. This is definitely something I'll probably make a yearly tradition for me and Thor, is to go walk around there, at least as long as we're living in the area. And finally, probably the biggest event we went to, or at least the one I enjoyed the most, was the Michigan Renaissance Fair. This one, I had no idea there was a Renaissance Fair you could bring your pet to, but apparently the one in Southern Michigan you can. As long as your pet is well behaved, you clean up after him, and basically, just general common rules that you would expect anywhere out in public that you bring your pet. Thor even seemed to enjoy it. Aside from being able to see horses, which he absolutely loves, and other livestock, you get to watch his first joust, which he actually genuinely seemed to enjoy. He was very focused on it the entire time. He didn't flinch, he wasn't scared by any of the sounds. He just looked like he was really taking it all in and enjoying it. On top of that, the setting is it's kind of back in the woods. It's a neat feeling. There was a lot of fun things to do there. We did the pub crawl. We got to see I guess they had kids make little fairy houses, which was kind of neat to walk through and see. There are other dog owners. We saw several other huskies there. Thor even got to drink with a pirate. I mean, how cool is that? So that's definitely something we're going to go back to again next year. I wanted to go a second time this year. It just, plans got in the way. It just never really happened. So this past year we went to the Dog Day themed weekend. Next year we're definitely going to go to that one again. Plus we'll probably try to find one of the other themed weekends that looks like it'd be something that both he and I could enjoy together. Might even try to see if we can get possibly Gone to the Snow Dogs press record and some of our other friends to come along. So I think that wraps it up for all the at least all the major events this past year. Like I said before, it's been a great year. There's been a lot of new things Thor and I have taken on, even besides YouTube. So I definitely look forward to continuing YouTube into 2017 and growing the channel. Thank you everyone who's still subscribed and still viewing the videos. I'm glad that Thor brings enjoyment into your lives as much as he does mine. If you enjoyed it and you want to keep up to date with everything we're doing, make sure and hit that subscribe button, give the video a like, and look forward to seeing what we get into next year.